Hey folks, welcome. Oh, this is ridiculous. There we go. Welcome to today's video. We're going to be looking at a bunch of different camera bag options. Now this all started off, Bevis Gear have this new top shelf bag they sent me out to test out. It's all about quick access, and I thought let's get in a whole bunch of different bags. It's been a while since I did a bag review, but to be honest, they're all featured, they have different features and they kind of have different appeals. So rather than a versus, I'm gonna run through and tell you what I'd like and dislike about each of them. I got in 6 bags from B&H Photo, 5 bags from B&H Photo, 1 from Bevis Gear, and added 2 of my own to the mix that I think are kind of comparable. We've been out shooting with each of them using the same kit to make sure, we could see how much they actually fit. And there is actually a huge variation in terms of application and strengths and unfortunately weaknesses among the bags as well. So let's go through them one by one. Okay, so starting off, this is very roughly the kit that we took along for each of the shoots. It's not exactly, this is actually an old DSLR. I had a Z9 with a cage on, with no lens. This is comparable size. The 24-70, I had the Z7 II with the 50mm 1.8, flash, Stoffen, Petite Prime. This one's a 14-30. I took different ones, but about this size. Some filters, spare batteries, a blower, some lens wipes, caps, hand sanitizer, 2022, and the 50mm f1.2. Now this is roughly what we took on each one. For one of the bags, it didn't all quite fit, but having this in my hand and the rest in the bag worked. For all the others, all of it fits in the bag, some of them with loads and loads of space. Now before I show you the bags one by one, I have to say, comparing bags is a little bit tricky. It's not like comparing lenses where I can just say size, weight, number of elements. They're almost impossible to compare side by side because one will have side pockets, one will have this, one will have waterproof zippers, one will have a waterproof cover. One will be 32 liters in capacity, one will be 38, and it's really difficult to give any kind of side by side, this is better. But I've broadly broken them down into what I consider to be city predominantly bags, nature or wild conditions predominantly bags, and then duffel bags. Now, of course, it's going to completely depend on how much gear you tend to shoot, what kind of conditions you're going into. Do you prefer really rugged and sturdy and you want lots of customization options, or do you want it simple and quick access is most important to you? Also, what I think is a really cool design and style, you might hate. So if any of these pique your interest, check out the links below. Again, thanks to B&H Photo for sending out 5 of the 8 bags we're looking at today. And then jump in from there. There's so many variables like where are their pockets, how are the zips made, all of that stuff. So once you're interested in one, go check out the specifics on that particular bag. Let's clear this off and take a look at the city bags. First bag in the city collection is this guy. This is actually the Nomatic Peter McKinnon collaboration bag. It's one of the biggest, one of the most expensive, and thankfully also one of the best looking, and I think one of the highest quality ones. I wasn't sure what to expect. I'd never checked out a Nomatic one, and you never know how, endorsement type products are going to end up. But I have to say, overall, this I think has a really sleek style. It feels like it's got the kind of coating that's going to take a real battering from the rain without having an issue. The zippers are, kind of weatherproof. They're weatherproof essentially, but keep in mind this kind of weatherproof over time will wear out. So having a rain cover to cover it is also a good idea. There are a lot of cool features built into this one that I think, whilst I'm sure it can go out in the conditions, the black on black on black theme and the kind of the security features it has, I think it's kind of aimed at city shooting. It's got a small pocket in the front here that has RFID protection. Where was it again? So you can pop your cards and that kind of thing in there, and then it should be safe from being scanned. It's got a laptop section. It does have a quick access section here. Just note this, along with almost all of the bags we tested, you can't actually get a gripped camera up on its side in and out of that space. Just grabbing this guy back, you can see it doesn't go in there. So you need to basically have the lens off the body or have it that way. If it's a small enough lens, you can see there, even with this tiny 50mm, it barely will go in. So all but I think there's probably three here that you can put a gripped and lensed camera in and get quick access to it. Just something for you to keep in mind. But again, this one has lots of points here that you can attach other things, you know, like for a modular kind of system to be able to hook onto it, which is really nice. All of the parts seem nicely designed, I have to say. I think it looks cool and it does seem quite functional and well thought out. Now, taking a look in the main section, something that differentiates this, something that I always appreciated on like my old Carter bags, so many camera bags inside are black. And if you're looking for a lens cap or a blower or whatever, a lot of our accessories are also black. So it makes finding things really difficult. So bright colors are good. This one has, and again, this comes down to your personal taste, kind of a, knowing Peter, a coffee brown kind of interior. Now, it's not too bad, but this sounds like a hater comment, but honestly, when we first opened this up, it smelled so strong of like chemical residue from the manufacturing process. I just left it open for a day or two before putting anything inside. Now, a week later, it smells fine. So the way that the little inserts are designed are all quite nice and modular as well, but you'll see the depth. You just trying to put in a gripped camera. If you were doing that, then you're going to it'll probably let you zip it up, but then if you were trying to put a laptop in the front or back or other rigid objects, it's just not all going to fit. You're going to need to put that stuff down quite flat. So this guy is $400, but it comes with loads of different options. I think, you know, bags are expensive, man. Having had a look at the options, I actually think at $400, this is competitive and quite a good option. One thing, I guess it's due to the materials that they're using, especially on the outside, it's quite a heavy bag, but it has among the best straps. It was comfortable. Comparing this to one of the other bags that is a lighter bag, this felt a lot more comfortable to shoot with, thanks to the good quality straps. The straps around the waist, however, are just kind of average. The shoulder straps are quite good. So that's the McKinnon bag. If you're interested in portraiture, folks, head on over to learn.artnudeportraiture.com and you can check out my latest downloadable course with Felicia, which is a candle wax photo shoot. This is intended for a mature audience and not suitable for work, but you can find the link in the description below. Next up is the 50-liter Shimoda bag. Now, I had never used one of these. My assistant Ernest suggested that we check one of these out. They come in three sizes, 30, 50, and 70-liter. This is the 50-liter version. They also come in a forest green option other than the black. Now, this is also a kind of fabric that instantly is going to repel water and stay quite dry even in heavy downpours. But it's not nearly as thick or as heavy as the McKinnon one in terms of its materials. Overall, I think it stores just as much, and it's a lot more customizable. So if you take a look on the back, pretty cool. This may be the only backpack I've seen this, and it's a well-designed system. It doesn't feel flimsy, where you can adjust where the handles actually attach on the back for small, medium, large, or extra large. So it's currently set up for extra large for me, but when my system was using it, we switched it to medium. I'll just do one for you now. You zip it down. It's double Velcroed. And then you pull it out, choose your selected height. So going back to medium. Well, it's a bit easier if you're not doing it from behind like this. It's the kind of thing you only really need to do once, then that's set up for you and you're good to go. So double Velcros, then zips closed. And that's a nice customization. And that's something I have to say about this bag in general. It has a lot of straps and pockets and bits and pieces everywhere that for someone who really wants to customize and be able to carry along a whole bunch of stuff and really deck it out in the way they want to shoot, this will be great for you. But if you're someone who just wants a simple one without too many options and not kind of things getting in the way when you're moving around, then the McKinnon and actually both of the other street bags that I'm going to show you are better options. Good customization, but that comes with, you know, more fiddly bits. The main segment to get in is in the back here, and it's a light blue color. Laptop there. Again, this one is just deep enough. Interesting thing, now the sections in this one are really rigid. Now this one will, if we just make a space for it, fit a DSLR in that way. It fits, it kind of just fits. So again, I don't know that I'd want to be putting my laptop there and then trying to close that on top. But if you're not carrying a laptop, having the camera standing up like that did fit on this one. I carried the Z9 around like that. Now on the side of this one, you do also have, where is that? So many customizations. This side, you can configure this so that you do have fast access there. But at the moment, because of the way that that internal chamber is set up, it doesn't have a cut through there. So you need to reorganize things if you want to have fast access. And you know, when this video started, I was sent out the Bevis Gear one, and their whole thing is about fast access. So I asked all of you on Instagram, if you're not following already, please do. What were your favorite fast access bags? So these are a lot of the ones you suggested. But honestly, fast access and security often don't go hand in hand. So I thought rather than just doing here's fast access bags, one by one, side by side, which one wins, it's kind of a blunt analysis. So this one, hugely customizable, really nicely built, also $400. Doesn't feel as substantial as a McKinnon one, but the straps, I would say, especially the side straps, are probably the best of the ones we're testing. The shoulder straps aren't as thick, but they're still really comfortable, and the bag comes in that much lighter than some of the others. So again, if you like the styling and if the customization and the big space on top for personal stuff works for you, a good option. Time for a bit of a janky segue, folks. All of these bags need time to set them up properly to get the most out of them, and it's the same with your cameras. Go on over to learn.mattgranger.com and you can check out my range of expert setup guides that will help you get the most out of your cameras. I currently have them up for the Nikon Z system and the Hasselblad X system, with more to come. Link for those are in the description below. Next up, this is the top shelf, which is the one from Bevis Gear. Now, if you haven't seen it, they advertise this as being the world's fastest camera bag that you can get access to in 1.2 or 1.1 seconds, something like that. And they demonstrate it, and that's all good. And the other unique thing is, let me just set this back up. So you can have it as a backpack with the two straps, or you can flip this one around and then lock it down. So then that is just kind of out of the way. And then you have a sling bag. So you pop the sling over your shoulder, and when you want to, you grab the side here, and because the bottom here is on kind of a rail, that lets you, boom, put it out like this and open it and get easy access. There's a couple of things, and I don't want to hate on them. I think this is a really cool idea, and I think there are people who this is going to be perfect for. But I personally think focusing on the 1.1 seconds or whatever is the wrong way to go, because when you have this fully loaded with gear, the times they're providing just aren't realistic. And actually, I think some of the other bags are easier or quicker to get access to, especially because, like, to have this comfortable, first of all, it doesn't fit that much. This is the one that wouldn't fit all the gear I had on the table. I checked all of their Kickstarter and then the product listings. I couldn't find the liter dimensions, like the capacity of this, listed anywhere. But based on the interior dimensions, I think it's just under 17 liters. So if you're looking for a compact kit in the city or somewhere where you want to be able to have a platform to work off, this is a great option, but it won't work for huge kits. But so you need to have it up fairly high, because the straps aren't as comfortable as the others when it's fully loaded. But then to get access, you need to lower this. And like you'll see in the promotion videos, Lowering it is quite easy when it's empty. Spinning it is easy when it's empty. And then you have this special clip. I have mine zipped, but if you have it unzipped, you just push the button and boom, you have quick access. That's great, but once it's fully loaded, that process of adjusting it and everything, then close it again, and then trying to hoist this up to get it to the comfortable position, I mean, it's not taking minutes, but it's not 1 second. That doing this when it's fully loaded to get it to the right place and swinging it around, even after a couple of days, I wasn't doing it that quickly. But of all the bags, having a platform like this to be able to work off is really cool. And there were times where, like shooting in the street market or wherever, being able to just change my lenses, having this platform here, or if you really wanted, working on a laptop, is handy. And by the way, I have this higher than it needs to be. You can have it down by your hip or whatever. I just want you to be able to see it. So in that sense, I think it works really well. The clip, they say, is like the same style race cars use to close their hood. I do trust the mechanism. It doesn't seem like it's going to fall open, but yes, if you just have cameras and lenses in here, nothing's gonna fall out. But if you have it unzipped, things like lens caps or batteries or filters or that kind of thing, there is enough room for those to fall out if you don't zip it. So personally, when I was going around, I would close it, then zip it. So it adds the zipping and unzipping time when you want to get access to your stuff. Now you do also have a side access section on this one, so if you're using it like a backpack, you can still have access that way. And that's actually an interesting thing, because I actually find often doing that, swinging to the side with a normal backpack, because that doesn't require you to adjust the length of the straps, that getting in this way may be just as easy. Now, this is a first generation bag. There'll be things to iron out, but I have to say, my concern when I saw the design was that if this lower strap and this don't hold their shape and don't, last a long time, if they start to fray or whatever, then the whole flipping and tilting thing with this rolling back and forward is going to come undone, right? It seems really resilient. There's no wear and tear yet, but I've only used it for a few days, so I can't really comment. But I have to say, the shoulder straps are not well padded enough in my opinion. And this, seatbelt type fabric, you can probably see it's all crinkled up already. When I was using it, this was regularly kind of crunching up and losing its shape. And when you have it hoisted up on your body, being a small but dense bag that you might have quite heavy, then you need it high on your back, you're adjusting this strap all the time for the height, I don't think it's particularly great quality either. So I have to say, this, even though it's a smaller bag, when it was fully loaded, I found it substantially less comfortable to carry than the other two street bags. But it's the only one with that platform, and I do think that's really cool. Last of the street ones is probably the most famous one, the bag that took the world by storm, the Peak Design Everyday Messenger. This is the 30-liter version. It's $300. They have a 20-liter version that only saves you $20, strangely. It doesn't save you like a third for the size loss. It comes in a bunch of colors. These have been so heavily reviewed, I guess you probably know all about it already. Ours arrived with the leather strap on top already having a few scratches in it. I guess with leather, you're expecting it's going to patina or wear and get love marks on it as it goes forward. I think a lot of you are going to be familiar with the specs of this guy already. I have to say, I do think it's quite good price for what you're getting. Having the big side access on both sides is quite cool. It does mean you need to be a little bit careful that you could accidentally have things roll out when it lets you open all the way like that. But you can't idiot-proof everything, and it does allow for you to get good access nice and quick. And that actually will almost just about let you get a full-size body in there. It's not easy, but if you don't have a big lens, you can. And then again, it's going to depend if you're trying to squeeze a laptop in the back there as well. The only thing I would say is with this kind of open design, it's a little bit harder to balance putting in your gear whilst it fits a reasonable amount. It's not as customizable as, for example, the Shimoda, that's for sure. If you were, it's like I said, it's really hard to compare apples to apples when it comes to bags, because this has different features and different design elements that the other bags don't have, and magnetic sections and blah, blah, blah. So it's really hard to do that. But if you just go on how do they feel, how's the quality, that kind of thing, and I have to say this at $300 seems quite good value. But honestly, the Peter McKinnon one at $400, it seems even more substantial and high quality, even given the price. Next up, looking at kind of outdoor bags, and I don't know if I'm saying that because they're green or what, but we got in this guy, which is gigantic. This is the MindShift bag. MindShift, by the way, is like the sister company to Think Tank Photo. And I had seen these at trade shows. I've, been aware of them for a long time. I hadn't really used one though until the other day, and we took it out in the driving rain. It's actually really impressive if the dual system works for you. So this is really set up for you to be able to take it hiking or whatever. It's got just a really different kind of level of padding. It's really kind of designed, I think, to be out in the elements, really hiking, where having a breathable back section is really important. The straps are just on a completely different level to all of the other ones that we've compared so far. You can open up the main section here, and at the moment that's set up for you to just put all of your personal stuff. And a lot of these bags have expandable sections at the top, so you can really stick in a whole bunch of, jackets and whatever you might need for your travel. But the cool thing on this one, and why it's called a rotation, is you're wearing it. Normally you would close off these two, and then you can slide around what I believe the Americans call fanny packs. And this then is at the front and gives you access to your camera equipment. Now, cool design on this one. Once it's unzipped, it's still kind of magnetically held down, so that won't just fall open even once it's unzipped. It actually takes a bit of work to pull it open. And depending on how tightly you have the waist strap and your body shape and the comfort level, this is not totally rigid, but you can also kind of use this as a platform for changing lenses whilst you're on the go as well. And I have to say, given the overall ergonomics of the whole bag and not having to make adjustments to straps or anything like that, actually opening this, swinging it around, and then pulling this open is just as fast as using the top shelf one, if you factor in that you have to adjust to the straps from carrying position to opening position. The design of it, as I said, it's outdoorsy. I think that's what it's meant for. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't look cool. You're not going to take this around for street photography probably. We got this absolutely drenched in the rain. The fabric was starting to, let the fabric come through, but a rain cover is going to help on that. But it also then dried out extremely quickly, and the actual camera gear itself, because it's behind several different layers of protective fabric, wasn't close to getting dry, so that wasn't an issue. This, however, is the most expensive of all of the bags in the comparison at $460. It's also probably the biggest one. They do have a couple of smaller sizes as well. The next one I have to disclose, there's actually two bags that I own and have been using for years that I included just because they were comparable, but I have a relationship with the manufacturer, so don't take this as an independent review. I can tell you what I like about them and whatnot, but seeing I'm not doing this versus that in a direct way, I think it's reasonable to include these. So this is a Compagnon element bag. Now, they designed this with Deuter. If you don't know them, they're like, I think, the world's biggest manufacturer of backpacks for hiking and that kind of thing. And it comes through. This back system looks really simple, and the shoulder pads don't look that thick. The side ones are thicker, but also don't look kind of flappy in any way. But it's up there with being as comfortable as any of the other ones, despite not having the bulk. I've taken this all around the world and it just works. So you have a front section you can open for storage. It's got the fast access section on the side, which we used a lot in the rain, modular system inside, and then, like a lot of these bags, a top that you can really extend a long way. It's like the ultimate turtleneck or something. I just wanted to show you this one because it's an option. I think it may actually be discontinued and they've got a generation 2 or whatever now, and they have ones with leather accents and whatnot, but it's another option if you want something not so big that maybe is a little bit, it's an in-between step if you're comparing it to the MindShift that's really focused and really customizable. This is one that you could take between the city and adventure work. Second last bag is another Peak Design one that probably a lot of people have never seen before. It's this duffel bag, and it's actually the cheapest of the bags in our comparison. Impressive because it's actually 65 liters in capacity. However, somebody didn't read the instructions clearly enough, and it's just an empty duffel bag at the moment. It's still made from the high-tech equipment, from the high-tech components, still got leather straps, but there's nothing inside. And personally, I would like to see it come with something, because the inserts that you can get, like little camera cubes, range from $50 to $90 each. And then knowing, can you fit 2 smalls or a medium and a small, or 1 large, or what exactly is going to fit in it. I searched and searched and searched online on the camera shops, and I couldn't find clear guidance on exactly which cubes were going to fit into this. And I certainly don't want to be buying ones that then don't fit. So the design looks good. The fact that, unless it's a camera person, it says Peak Design, so they might know, but otherwise it just kind of looks like a weekend bag. It's fairly light and you can really fit a lot in this. This is probably something that you'd be able to get past airport security without being weighed, despite having a bunch of cameras in it. So this one at 65 liters is $170 just for the shell. If you are adding a large cube to that, that adds another 90, so you'd be up at like 260 plus tax in the States. They also have a 35 liter bag, and it is $140. So again, you don't save that much by jumping down in sizes. And the last one, because I have a duffel, I thought I would include the duffel that I personally use. And it's this guy. It's called the Weekender by Compagnon. And this is one where it's really going to come down to what's your personal taste. This is made of full grain. The entire bag is full grain bull leather, which means it's thick, it's durable, but it also means it's that much heavier. This does, however, come with the fully lined interior and comes with all the different inserts that you could want to configure this out to be able to put half camera gear, half personal stuff, or a layer of camera gear at the bottom, then personal stuff on top. You can put a laptop down in the side there. It's also got like little leather inserts there for putting pens and personal accessories and everything. And it has the shoulder strap, all leather as well, that you can use, or you can carry it with the handles. Now, I've been using this for years, so it looks a little bit flat right now because I don't have all the inserts in it. But I have taken this so many places and it just looks like a fancy leather weekender bag that has probably got your shirts and a towel in it or something, but it's being leather, you can put like 50 pounds of camera gear in it, and if you can carry it, it doesn't start to lose its shape. After the years I've had it, it's, maybe it looks a little rounder, but it hasn't started to droop or sag in terms of the leather. So it's also by far the most expensive of any of the bags we're comparing here, more like $600 or $700. So I'm just gonna bring up the sections again. So street bags, first of all. As we're going through this, please think about what you shoot, how much gear you tend to take. If you're thinking to take 20 different lenses along, you're gonna need a giant bag, and are you actually going to want to carry it in that kind of a situation? How important is style for you? How much do you care about how it looks versus how it performs? And when I say that, I don't mean any shade at all. Being interested in aesthetics or the style of something doesn't mean you have to be going to Fashion Week every year. The t-shirt or shorts or shoes that we wear all say something about us, and if you're going to choose between this bag and this bag, or this bag and this bag, the styling as well as the function and the price and the capacity will factor in for almost everyone. That's why they come in so many different colors. So quick recap, The Everyday Messenger, I think, is really nicely made. It's not as customizable as some of the others, but you know, this has been reviewed to death. I'm sure you know all about it. Let me know if you actually own one of these. The new top shelf by Bevis Gear, really cool to have the shelf. For me, that's the main selling point rather than the speed of access. I think the straps could be higher quality and better padded to accommodate the amount of wear and tear they're going to get and the comfort of using it. The Shimoda seems really nicely built. It's lucky they're all empty now. The Shimoda seems really nicely built. It's got lots of straps and options, and if you like that kind of thing, great for customizing. If you just want stealth and sleek, these guys are the same price. The Peter McKinnon bag is great quality. The only real negative on it for me was that really strong chemical smell when we first opened it up. The MindShift, if you're looking for hiking, something that's modular, that will give you heaps of personal equipment, plus your camera gear and fast access, great. And I would have to say probably the best back and strap padding of any of the bags. The Compagnon, a nice midpoint between stealth and adventure. Negative, it's not for sale anymore because I think this is an outdated model. And then the duffel bags, it's really going to come down to you if that kind of a bag is going to work for you. You're going to have to carry it or have it on one shoulder, which isn't the most ergonomic, but it does have its advantages. Keep in mind with the Peak design, you don't have any inserts. For the Compagnon, keep in mind the weight and price and whether full leather is going to work for you. So let me know as a comment below, how many camera bags do you own? Again, no judgments here. I kind of, now that I have owned dozens of camera bags and understand some days you need to carry one camera and one lens, other days 3 cameras and 10 lenses, and then everything in between, some for street, some for adventure. Suddenly you can justify having 12 bags. So now I understand why some women have 12 different handbags as well. So how many different camera bags do you have? What's your all-time favorite, and what's the one that you take out most often? Leave us a comment below. Check out the links to these below so you can see the exact model that we have reviewed and all of their features, their materials and all of that kind of thing. Let me know any questions you have. I'll see you soon.